Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/mother-in-laws from hell. As per usual, I'll be reading the post, reading some comments, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Bride 1234-109. Mother-in-law tried to make our vacation a family vacation. Now she's mad we canceled ours. Husband and I have been saving to go on a much-needed vacation and finally booked it for next month. We were so excited. We shared the basic info about it, location, resort, and dates with our immediate family and started looking into excursions and tours. Everything was perfect. On Sunday, just before family dinner, my sister-in-law and I caught mother-in-law on Expedia with credit card in hand booking a trip to the same resort at the same time we would be there. We told husband and he confronted his mother. She said it looked like fun and she wanted to go there too. She said her and my father-in-law discussed it and thought it would be a great idea to book the same vacation for themselves and my sister-in-law and brother-in-law so that we can all have a well-deserved vacation. Sister-in-law and husband immediately shut it down, saying that they were not invited and cannot just invite themselves, that they are intruding on our plans. Then, cue the waterworks and victimization from mother-in-law of how we don't want her around. Father-in-law yelled at us for being disrespectful and hurting her feelings, and said that you don't control where and when we go somewhere, so deal with it. Sister-in-law confirmed to me that same night that they did in fact book the vacation, just without my sister-in-law and brother-in-law because they refused to go. Sister-in-law, the nicest person she is, connected us with her friend who is a travel agent. The travel agent was able to find us a cruise that goes to the same location and a few others with a good last-minute deal and was less than the original trip. Thankfully, we were able to get a refund on the resort and get flight credits for the flights since the cancellation penalty period hasn't started yet. On Thursday, we saw his parents at our niece's kindergarten graduation. Mother-in-law came to us and tried to get us to book excursions with them. Husband told her that, unfortunately, we won't be there anymore, and are going to another undisclosed vacation without them, with a smug look. Mother-in-law called us selfish, and they both keep calling us and sister-in-law trying to get information she won't be getting. She's been making passive-aggressive posts on Facebook and telling everyone how selfish we are. Update. 2 months later. A month or so ago, I posted about how my mother-in-law tried to hijack my husband and I's vacation and make it into a family one. We canceled ours, and my angel of a sister-in-law had a travel agent friend that was able to hook us up with a cruise instead. When my in-laws found out, they started calling us selfish for changing our plans, when they wouldn't. We canceled before penalty window. There were a couple of flying monkeys that came at us due to my in-laws twisting the story, but whatever. After explaining our side, they went away. The good news is, we made it. We're on board and having a blast of a time. Sister-in-law and my parents are the only ones who know where we're at. There were a few calls from father-in-law demanding we pay half of the money they lost. They ended up canceling and had to pay a 50% fee. Apparently, we owe it to them because they needed us there with them to be able to navigate everything. They won't see a dime from us. Thank you to everyone in your kind comments. We have learned our lesson. See, I thought your father-in-law said that you guys can't control where and when they go somewhere, so you should deal with it. I mean, I thought that, by them telling you that, they were just going to go where they wanted to go, because it can't be controlled. Surely they actually wanted to go to that vacation spot on their own, right? Because, after all, they did book those tickets without asking or consulting you, and you were told, quite bluntly, that they can't be controlled if they go somewhere. It's on their responsibility where they choose to go, when and where. So they should be dealing with it, no? Gotta love the logic of just like, wah! What do you mean you don't want us to come on the vacation you didn't invite us to? Well, you can't control when and where we're gonna be going, so we're just gonna go there anyways. What do you mean you changed your vacation plans? We can't navigate that place on our own. Well, you owe us 50% of the cost of the vacation now because we couldn't cancel. It's on you. It's your fault. Honestly, the real 300 IQ move this solution would be, don't cancel your plans. Just tell them that you're taking a cruise instead. that you've already canceled them, while meanwhile, you still have the original bookings in place. So that way they're scrambling, they're panicking, trying to figure out what they're gonna do, where they're gonna go. They cancel the trips at a 50% fee, and then you post on Facebook the exact resort that you went to. Oh, look at that. We didn't tell you to book your trip, and we also didn't tell you to cancel it. You're the ones who chose this. We told you we were thinking about canceling our trip, but we opted not to in the end. That might just be dumping kerosene onto an open flame, though. Murisin Nirala. Mother-in-law said I couldn't cook, so I let her cater an entire party. My mother-in-law has always looked down on me because I didn't come from a culinary family. She brags constantly about her famous pot roast and how her boys were raised on real meals, not Pinterest garbage. When I cook, she picks apart everything. Too salty, too trendy. Or the worst one, it's fine for your generation. This, while serving overcooked green beans and dried chicken. So when my husband's birthday rolled around, I saw an opportunity. I told her she should totally take charge of the menu since she's so experienced. Appetizers, mains, sides, dessert, everything. She said yes, of course, assuming everyone would finally taste her brilliance. Well, it was a disaster. Half the food was late, the rest was cold, and she forgot to make anything vegetarian for my sister-in-law. People were polite, but confused. My husband said afterward, "Babe, I missed your cooking." I just smiled sweetly and said, "Guess I'll take it back over next year." She hasn't criticized my food since. Honestly, OP played the situation perfectly. They made their mother-in-law put her money where her mouth was, and turns out she's about 4/4 short of $1. So, whoops. Maybe next time don't complain when someone cooks a meal for you and just enjoy the fact that you're having something cooked for you, and don't tell them that, oh, you didn't come from a culinary family, while serving overcooked green beans and dried chicken. Did you marinate it? Did you do anything like that? Oh, so as a fun general question to the audience, what's your go-to way of marinating chicken? For me, I'll usually go for like a sesame teriyaki style with some minced garlic and ginger. That's usually a pretty good one that I've found that works well for me. And yes, I'm a bit of a heathen and I'll do store-bought teriyaki sauce. But it works really well. Gives the chicken some nice life and doesn't require any exorbitant amount of cooking. If you want to, you can add some chili seeds in there as well, and that'll really add some flavor pop. But still, marinate your chicken, especially if you're gonna brag about being from a culinary family. Like, I know next to nothing about food. I just like putting things together that I think will taste good. And like, 20% of the time it does. So, at least my chicken's not dry. Forsaken Cram, 1842. Mother-in-law faked cancer. I started writing this post about my mother-in-law, and before I knew it, I had 10 pages in carpal tunnel. Instead, I'll give the brief strokes of what made me stop playing nice through gritted teeth. My mother-in-law has always faked medical disorders for attention. She also uses them to make excuses for her inexcusable behavior. Early in my relationship with her son, she attempted to extort my parents by accusing me of stealing $16,000 worth of property from her and telling them if they paid her the $16K, she wouldn't go to the police. Consequently, my mom has always hated my mother-in-law. But mother-in-law's lack of boundaries is legendary, and she has always wanted to be friends with my parents. Rather than admit she lied, she claimed an untreated seizure disorder was to blame for the accusations against me. When my parents maintained their refusal to have anything to do with her, she decided in her head, my dad was the one preventing a relationship. She started pushing this narrative that he was controlling my mother, and if not for him, she and my mom would be besties. Despite living across the country from one another and having met only during the birth of my child. My dad got cancer in 2023. I didn't want mother-in-law to know because I just knew. I knew she'd find some way to make the darkest time of my life even harder. My partner let it slip, and within 2 weeks, she was faking cancer. For over a year, as I watched my dad slip away, I also had to witness this woman writhing with jealousy, making increasingly ridiculous claims about being miraculously cured of simultaneous liver cancer and cholangiocarcinoma, only to every few weeks claim they found a new cancer elsewhere. When pressed why she never required chemo, radiation, or surgery for any of it, she initially said it was caught early enough, then changed her story to include sneaking away in the dark of night for secret treatments and wearing a wig so not to worry her family. When asked her prognosis, she said, tentatively optimistic. She added, "But I'm not trying to take attention away from Rob, so don't worry about me." My dad didn't get lucky. His cancer has a particularly cruel progression of responding well to initial treatment, only to come back quickly and often metastasize to brain or liver. They tried prophylactic cranial radiation, which left him with dementia, unable to speak, and the cancer just metastasized to his liver instead. He died a few months before Christmas, and mother-in-law attempted to invite herself to my mom's for the holiday. When her son told her no, she sulked and said, "I really thought once Rob was gone, things were gonna be better." I'm sorry I was unsuccessful in making this vent any shorter. I'm tired now. Is it wrong to hope karma gets the mother-in-law what she deserves, and that she actually gets the illnesses that she was faking having? And for her to then try to complain to people, but no one takes her seriously because she played boy who cried wolf for the longest time while OP's father was fucking dying? The most ironic part of this is that if the mother-in-law actually wanted a closer relationship with OP's mother, the perfect way they could have done it is by actually being there and being a good person and actually trying to help, rather than steal attention away from the fact that their fucking husband and father is dying. But no. I also have cancer. But I also had a miraculous recovery and didn't need any kind of surgical intervention or chemotherapy. But I have cancer again. It sounds like the husband at least is aware that this behavior is unacceptable, but I'm not sure exactly how much he's fully intervening. The focus wasn't really his behavior, it was more of just the batshit insanity that was the mother-in-law's behavior. Also, I could barely even comprehend the final line there revolving on the fact that she thought that once Rob died, they'd be friends now. Things were gonna be better. Better, huh? Now that Rob's dead. Nice. Just disgusting. Long jumping step 450. Mother-in-law sent CPS on false claims. Hi all, for context, I'm a military spouse with a deployed husband. Mother-in-law was supposed to be helping me while he's overseas, but all she did was take over our apartment, throw herself a grandmother shower, constantly take my baby from me, and nearly kill her by positional asphyxiation. Husband said he would handle it, but when he came back, he never did. So I've since moved out of the apartment and took it off our BAH paperwork. So now, if she wants to continue living there, she has to pay the rent herself. She went belligerent over that. I'm guessing husband gave her our new address, or maybe some paperwork was sent to the old place, but CPS showed up twice, stating they had to investigate due to different reports. First claim was I was neglecting my daughter due to my mental health/PPD, then a claim my daughter had a severe dog bite inflicted by my Korean Jindo. Neither are true. I threatened to file an order of protection against her, to which she told husband nothing can keep her from her baby. I asked husband when he comes back if he could not take the baby to see his mom. He refuses to respond. Our custody case in June has a continuation in September since his orders prevent him from coming to court. How can I keep my baby from this psycho? Comment from user CarelessBit8329. The CPS cases are actually a blessing. Ask the police department for a record because this will ensure this lunatic doesn't get visitation. Your husband gets partial custody. It's called right of refusal. It shows grandma is unsafe. OP responds, I don't have any proof it was her who made the claims though. All I have is the positional asphyxiation incident plus proof and another incident where I found her half naked in the bed with her side piece and my baby in a diaper between them. Is that enough? Careless Bit responds, yeah, that's great proof. I'm not a lawyer. Go see one ASAP and show them those pictures. Explain the mysterious CPS calls. Give them any documentation between you guys. Another comment response to OP from Beneficial Way 8742. Doesn't matter if you have proof for the CPS cases. Get the reports. You never know what a lawyer can use to tie it to her. Subpoena, tying her to the report by location/time. Who knows? Let the lawyer figure that out. Just get as much info as you can. I feel like this advice is more crucial because this post is one where they're actively going through the situation and it feels as though things aren't quite at a resolution. This is not good, and this is definitely dangerous. And I don't like the additional comment from OP about the fact that the mother-in-law had her side piece in bed with the baby between them. What the hell is going on? That woman needs to be dealt with, and your husband needs to grow a fucking spine. Jesus. One of OP's best courses of action is definitely to consult the lawyer and see what the lawyer is able to say. And hopefully he's able to lay the groundwork for OP getting a restraining order against the mother-in-law. Hopefully OP's able to get something along those lines or find some decent solutions, because this behavior is unacceptable and dangerous. Caramella Soprano 1129. Mother-in-law showed up at my door despite being told today didn't work. My husband and I have been married for 2 years. We have an 8-month-old. We're older, 35 and 37. Me. His mom has been an issue from the start. Typical enmeshed behavior. She threw tantrums during the wedding planning, didn't speak to us on the wedding day, guilted her son for abandoning his family for me, told everyone how sad she was that he was getting married, etc. It goes without saying that her and I have a very strained relationship with her. She shows up today after being told that I have strep throat. She didn't even tell me that she was coming or that she wanted to stop by. I just found out because she sent me a text message saying, "Send him outside." I asked him why his mother was here, and that's what he told me, that she asked if he could, and he said no because I'm sick. It seems like a minuscule thing, but today was a breaking point. It's been years of me getting upset by her. It's caused issues in our relationship, so I just have decided to tap out. I blocked her and let my husband know that I need to not be asked to be in the same room as her. I'm all for him being with her, but I will not be. I'm done enduring bullying and abuse from someone just because she's my husband's mom, and it's more polite to smile and agree because Southern hospitality or whatever. Has anyone else experienced this, and how do you deal with it? Honestly, from my opinion, it sounds like OP has already dealt with it. Just by blocking her, you've kind of removed yourself from her equation. No more texts where she's asking you to go fetch your husband for her, to send him outside. Now she actually has to communicate with her own child, and if he doesn't want to come outside, well, he can tell her that himself, and she has no way to guilt or pressure you to convince him otherwise. And if she wants that relationship back, well, she needs to rebuild it, and she needs to be civil, and she actually needs to earn a relationship with her daughter-in-law. And now that you have her blocked, just enjoy the silence and lack of screeching. Raymond M. Mother-in-law restrained me. My husband and I had a baby 6 to 10 months ago. Edit, I'm being vague about how old my baby is because I'm honestly a little scared. Point is, it's my child's first year of life, and threw a small family barbecue for my siblings to meet our child and wanted to include both of our families. Background: his mother-in-law ignored my boundaries and insulted me repeatedly when I was at the most vulnerable time in my life. During my pregnancy, and when the baby was first born, it was a traumatic birth, which led to her not seeing the baby for 3 months. It turned to 5 months because she refused to talk to me. She turned the whole family against us and everyone refused to talk to us. We weren't invited to a holiday or birthday dinner. Okay, fast forward. We had her come over once before the barbecue to move forward and she was tolerable, but still overstepping. Anyway, party day comes and she's just talking about herself non-stop, interrupting when I speak, all over the baby, and I'm ignoring it, trying to focus on the bigger picture. She's doing shit on purpose to get under my skin. After about 3 hours of her bullshit, I made a joke to my brother-in-law, and she intervenes, saying I'm insulting her. I told her I was making a joke to my brother-in-law that had nothing to do with her, and she kept going on and on, saying she's his mother, blah blah. He's an adult. I'm holding my baby and telling her it was a joke, and it has nothing to do with her. She grabs my arm and tries to restrain me. I move away and tell her not to touch me. She does it again. And again, I repeat, "Don't touch me," and walked away with the baby. She follows me yelling. My husband intervenes at that point and I told him not to get involved because his whole family will cut him off again. She threatens to leave, so everyone else threatens to leave too, his side of the family. I see how hurt my husband was, and I go make amends to keep the peace. Very difficult thing for me to do considering she low-key attacked me while holding my baby. She ends up staying, and whatever, it's fine. We went to see her the next day in a public place, so she doesn't have the whole family against us yet again, to keep the peace. She was incredibly rude, but again, I tolerated it. It's been a month since the party, and she won't respect one boundary set, and that it's to ask me when she can come to visit with the baby. She will always ask him, and he redirects her to ask me. She refuses. If she can't follow this boundary, how can I trust her? I'm done with his family, and I'm going no contact, and my kid won't be around them either. It's fine for them to cut me off, but to treat my husband that way, their own brother/son, makes me really not trust them. If she ever does ask me to see the baby, I want to say no. I don't want to spend our child's first holidays with them. She always acts out every damn time. She bullied me throughout pregnancy and made this first year even more difficult raising my kid as a first-time mom. I need to protect my peace. I'd like your thoughts and advice. This is an extremely unhealthy and just very dangerous family dynamic that your husband has found himself in. Your mother-in-law pretty much has the entire family wrapped around her finger like she's some kind of fucked up Pied Piper. Husband probably needs therapy, but you guys definitely need distance and space. This is a family that's not worth keeping around because they're entirely willing to burn relationships and cause problems and cause havoc and cause grief, all in order so that way mother-in-law can get exactly what she wants. Like, in order to prove her point, she was willing to not only put your health at risk, but the child's health at risk, when she grabbed OP while she was holding the infant. And then upon seeing this, everyone sided with the mother-in-law. That's a dynamic that I would stay away from. And for OP's sake, I would recommend going limited to no contact ASAP, because this is a toxic family that's not worth keeping around. Mother-in-law wants as much control as she can get, and you're not giving it. And that's what the problem is here. Poodle McClure. Grandmother-in-law ignores the threat and pays the price. A friend reminded me this evening of the time I played babysitter to one of the most foul-mouthed, hate-filled people I have ever met. She was the grandmother to the bride who I met through the groom, who was a longtime friend since 7th grade. The bride and I got along immediately, and is still, to this day, a close friend. The groom's mother passed away when he was young, and his father had not remarried at this point. The two of them lived with his grandmother, Dad's mom, who he considered his de facto mother. His father would routinely have to go out of town for work, so he spent a lot of time with Grandma. This will be important. Bride's grandmother did not like the groom, as she thought that the groom and his family were beneath her, and she could do better. She did not hide her disdain at all. I will say this about her. She knew how to make a snide comment/insult sound like a compliment better than anyone I know. Throw in her super sweet grandma smile and you'd find yourself thanking her for that insult. It's only seconds after she's moved on to her next victim that you realize what she really meant. Groom proposes, bride accepts, grandma seethes. The negative comments are more direct now with no ambiguity. When details about wedding plans, color, dress, music, whatever come out, she has nothing positive to say. Everything is so low class, because she's lowering her standards now that she's marrying groom. Then it all hits the fan. At the bridal shower, the grandmother-in-law finds out that the groom's grandmother will be a part of the wedding procession and walk down the aisle. She, however, will not. She will have a prime reserved spot at the church, but she won't be walked down the aisle. She does not accept the fact that groom's grandma had a major role in raising him. Everyone tries to calm her down, but she is livid. The threat that rattles everyone is when she threatens objecting to the union during the wedding. Some think she was just blowing hot air, but most knew how she could be when she did not get her way. Cue my hiring. They don't suffer fools gladly, and that my loyalty to them is strong. They ask me to sit next to her. My task? If she makes any disruption or commotion during the ceremony, I was to remove her from the church immediately and send her home. Maid of honor was scared she would show up wearing white, which thankfully she did not do. Grandma was told that she would have someone who would not have any issues removing her from the church if she acted up. Wedding day arrives and I take my spot. Grandma arrives and sizes me up. She did not approve. I didn't care. She makes an opening salvo. I hope you know what you're in for. I don't think you have it in you to do anything, said with the grandma smile in full effect as she sat down next to me. I hope you know that I don't give a rat's ass what you think. I only care about what the bride and groom think. You're gonna have to drag me kicking and screaming out of here, she snarls. I've only got 2 words for you. I turned to look her right in the eyes to let her know I was dead serious. Try me. We have a stare-off that's broken by the arrival of one of the bride's cousins. She's sitting behind us and thankfully distracts Grandma away from me, which gives me time to come up with a plan of action. Grandma can stay for the wedding unless she truly was causing a disruption. I was hoping she would behave enough so she could actually see the bride get married, and if she didn't, then I would either drag her out kicking and screaming or deny her entry to the reception and send her home. Wedding begins. Groom's grandma is walked down the aisle. Fucking bitch, Grandma says, turning to me with a sickly psycho smile. She's not saying it very loud, but loud enough that I knew others could hear it. This went on for the entire ceremony. Some of it was so disgusting that the words vulgar or obscene would not be enough. When it came time for the objection, she fidgeted in her seat, making as if she was going to stand up, but she never did. At the end of the wedding, I followed orders and texted the best man, who passed along my report card to the groom. Take her to the reception and follow along. When we got near the entrance to the reception, one of the ushers came and asked us to come with him. We were led down a hall and into a room where the newlyweds were waiting. Grandma goes to hug bride, who refuses. They let her know that they are aware of her crude comments and how disappointed they are with her. She starts to refute the allegations when the bride barks at her to be quiet, because they have proof. At this point, the cousin sitting behind us enters the room. She was the belt over the suspenders who validated everything I said. Grandma is then told she will not be coming to the reception and whatever gift she had planned on giving will be returned. I will be taking her outside and call an Uber for her. The Uber driver will be told to take her home and nowhere else but home. Newlyweds leave the room with Grandma screaming after them. They ignore her. Cousin thankfully stays with me in the side room later, telling me that she was concerned Grandma would accuse me of assault or worse if I was left alone. Uber arrives and Grandma refuses to go. This goes on for a couple minutes with Cousin gently trying to get her to stand. I text bride and groom, who respond with, "Call 911 then." And that's what I did. Police did arrive discreetly, no sirens but lights were flashing. They came in and told her they were there to either take her home or take her to jail. Where she went would all depend on her actions. She finally relented and huffed to take her home. One officer offered her his arm as they began walking out of the room. Then she spit on me as she passed by. Then the police lived to their word. In Florida, that is misdemeanor battery. She wailed how wrong they were to cuff her, and she already told them to take her home. One of the officers told her that her actions would dictate where she was going to go. She was booked and bailed out in under 24 hours. I don't remember how long she was there. The bride and groom profusely apologized to me and gave me a very expensive bottle of bourbon as a thank you and "we're sorry" gift. Never saw that grandma again. Bride and groom went very low contact with her after that. What a goofy, self-centered person. All she had to do was just keep her mouth shut and just smile and enjoy the time there. But no, she had to try to make it about herself, and look at that! Spent the night in jail because she literally couldn't keep her mouth shut. Not only was she making snide comments, but she spit on someone, which is assault. But hey, our first grandmother-in-law from hell who has pretty much managed to perfectly slide into place with all the others. Imagine being so stubborn of the idea that you find out that another grandmother is being walked down the aisle because they practically acted as the husband's mother, so you seethe over it to the point where you're willing to sabotage the entire wedding and everyone around you just out of spite. I gotta wonder if they lived their entire life that spiteful or if this is some kind of new behavior they recently picked up, because that is a sad existence to live. Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code OZ at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.